Okay, so I went through all of the pockets in these 3 green stalks, and remember we set these up in May, and all direct seed sown with the exception of the peppers. And so I went through all the pockets and re-sowed seeds for any of them that looked like there was no germination, or if there was only one plant. I'm pretty sure, I have to look back at the video, but I think I put 3 seeds of the different beans and peas in each pocket. And so, yeah, if I only had one plant or no plants, I put in more seeds. The beans that I put in these 4 raised beds, I have germination in all of those. And so, yeah, it was just an issue with some of the pockets in the green stalks. So I'm gonna get my bowl, and I'm gonna start harvesting those little bit of peas. So I'm gonna go around and just do a quick scan, because see, it's just so easy to miss these peas. It's not gonna be a lot. Ooh, but look, I just looked up and I see beans. Hold on. The food just be blending in with the leaves, y'all. Oh my goodness. I'm probably gonna be able to do a bean harvest next week. But let me stay focused and get these peas. So I found 3 on the top tier, and then 5 from the bottom tier. So they'll get mixed into a little vegetable saute. And then I'm gonna go ahead and harvest this kale variety. We started these seeds also in May, along with everything else up here. All right, so here's what I got from that kale variety. And then, you know, I will come back probably tomorrow when it's time to harvest and get some of that kale. But I love these kale varieties. They grow nicely. Even in the summer, they stay tender. They don't bolt up here in this garden. So yeah. And then I did not harvest from this oregano when I did my oregano harvest for the freeze dryer. So I'm gonna just get a little bit of this to saute up with my vegetables. And when I come to do my second harvest for the freeze dryer, yeah, I'll have a lot more. I'm gonna get a little bit of parsley too. All right, so lots of green things, but hey, it's fresh and I'm gonna enjoy it. These cayenne peppers are so beautiful. I can't even wait for them to start ripening. I think they're gonna look so pretty in this red green stalk as the colors change. A lot of the potato flowers have started to drop. And so yeah, we'll see how much longer it takes for the leaves to start dying back. I can't even wait to do this first potato harvest. I really want some potatoes. The radicchio that I planted also is looking pretty good. This was also planted in May, direct seed sown. The variety is called Beatrice radicchio. And then this variety here that I planted several grow bags of has more blooms that have opened. So some have dropped and some have just started opening. So the same with this one. I just think the blossoms are so beautiful. Okay, and the final thing I'm going to get from the hillside garden are some peppers. These are peppers that, you know, are growing on plants that are kind of small early in the season. And I just let them, and now I'm going to harvest them because you can see there it's on the ground. That one's going to hit the ground soon, that one too. So I'm just going to go around and inspect them. These are Anaheim peppers, and so I can incorporate those into my dinner. All right, so I got 4 Anaheim peppers, and these plants will just continue to grow. My big harvest obviously will come much later in the season, into September. but it's always nice to get a few early in the season. And then now these plants will, you know, continue to flower and put on new fruit. And I'm looking forward to a big harvest of these later in the season. The cayennes are all growing along really nicely, putting on a lot of fruit. But obviously I want to wait until they're red to harvest. Same with these small sriracha peppers. Hopefully they'll ripen. I mean, I could take them green also, which I might, we'll see. There's several plants that, I have 3 plants in here and with 4 peppers. So who knows, maybe I'll come and harvest those tomorrow and then give the chance just a time to grow a little bit taller and keep flowering. And then I'll, you know, relieve a little bit of stress from the plants. They can continue to grow, put out more flowers. And again, most of my peppers, I look for the big harvest in September. I am gonna grab this one spicy banana pepper though. So there are the peppers. Now we're gonna go to the lower garden because I saw lots of strawberries down there. And I saw some onions that I'm gonna pull. All right, so we got this area weed whack because I'm gonna set up another grow space under this mulberry tree. It's a huge area. I think I'll measure it out once I'm ready to set it up. But right now I'm here for mulberries. So yeah, it's so awesome. This is gonna be, I think, my 4th or 5th harvest off of this tree. I really do need to go to the front to check on those as well, but let's start here. It's often easiest to kind of stand under the tree and look up for the berries because they kind of hide under the leaves. All right, so this is all I could reach for now. I'm gonna send my husband back out again this evening to his reach. You know, I'm only 5'7". His reach, he's way taller than me, so he can reach up way higher and get more. Because there's a lot that are just beyond my reach. All right, so here's what I grabbed real quick from this upper garden. Let's head down to the lower garden. All right, so I was excited to see while I was down here planting some more strawberries ripened. So we're just gonna go around and harvest what we find, and yeah, enjoy them. So just 3 on this side of the garden. Let's head to the other side of the garden. All right, so we're gonna get in here and just grab everything we see as well. So excited to still have strawberries ripening this late in June. All right, so still that's a nice amount of strawberries. The rest of the stuff, by the way, from the hillside I put inside because it's like 92 degrees out here right now. And I didn't want them to wilt, but the peppers will be fine. But I'm gonna get one last thing real quick, and then we're gonna get inside and hydrate. Actually, I looked up real quick and I saw, this is a carrot. It's actually a couple of them. I grew carrots in this spot last year and I must have not harvested a couple, or maybe they didn't grow all the way up, I don't know. But carrots are biennials. So the second year they'll grow and they'll produce seeds. So they'll go through a flowering stage. That's what this is forming here. And then they'll go to seed. So I'm gonna let that, there are a couple of them in here. I'm gonna let that just so I can show y'all too later on as the flower like opens up, and we'll collect some seeds. I do have a seed variety that is just the flowering carrot, like you grow it for the flowers and not for the root, which I plan to sow this year for my cut flower garden. So we'll see if I get to. I also want to show you here, I mentioned this in a recent video when I was harvesting some callaloo, how I leave this to grow. It self-seeds, and I leave it to grow because it is like a trap crop for aphids as well as beetles. The Japanese beetle will come in there. I don't know if it's coming in here because it's eating the aphid or what, but I'll leave them alone. And They're actually providing a nice shade for my tomato seedlings right now as they're young. And then I'll come in at some point and cut them down. But for now, I'm gonna let them stay so the bugs can eat those and leave my other greens alone. Now I will show you in another video that I did transplant some really good looking ones that were young. I transplanted them out of the garden beds here into a grow bag so I can continue to let them grow and have more callaloo to eat throughout the early summer. We'll see that in another video. I'm also gonna go ahead and harvest these chamomile blossoms while I'm down here. The chamomile smells so good. What a pretty little plate. I'll be back down a little later. I have a lot of herbs I wanna harvest from down here to get into the freeze dryer. And then I'm also gonna get some callaloo and onions for dinner tonight, but I'm gonna come back out this evening. It's gotten really hot, and so I'm gonna head inside and I'll just leave that in the ground until I'm ready to harvest it and use it directly for dinner. All right, so I'm gonna get this all cleaned up and into the fridge. And then, as I said, I'm gonna go back down to get the onions and callaloo, and I'll do mulberries from the front later on as well. And I'll show you what I got. All right, y'all, so I'm back out here to get some onions to cook up for dinner. I decided not to get the callaloo because I'm gonna do a different dish than I had originally planned since I harvested those Anaheim peppers. And so I noticed when I was moseying around, this onion is looking like it's ready to be pulled already. And you see the one behind it is way smaller. So I'm gonna pull this out, and that's gonna give that one back there. And then that one here is gonna have plenty of space to grow and get big. And then I think I'm gonna go ahead and grab this one since it's at the front and it's kind of hidden by the squash anyway. I checked the tag, and actually this was a mixture of different kinds of short day onions. So that kind of makes sense why some are they're all different kinds of onions, and they're getting ready and growing at different rates. So I don't know what kind of onions these are, but they're gonna get eaten. These lilies are just filled with blooms. They get just more and more blooms and bigger each year. Take up more and more space, but they're so pretty. They're so pretty. And I love having perennials in this garden. I did also see another sun gold ripened, and there are a few red cherry tomatoes I'm gonna grab too. Just a few, but I'm gonna take them. All right, so that's it. I'm gonna get inside and cook dinner. I really need to harvest more of this mint here. You saw already that I have already harvested back this bed. It has regrown. I need to harvest and preserve it again. I'm gonna be creating some new plants, propagating it, and then this area will get planted up. I have a bunch of backups that are gonna go in here, and I'm gonna start some new seeds for some quick growing greens and herbs that'll go in here as well. But I'm gonna save that for this weekend. Let me get inside and cook. Okay, so I have not been weighing the onions as I've been harvesting them early, but I was just curious with these to see. So this is 9.4 ounces of onions for these two. If I remember to document it again, the documentation is just for me to see, you know, based on what I'm putting in the garden, what I'm getting out. But I definitely will do the weighing at the end, especially for the storage onions. That's really what I'm curious about. So yeah, let me get to cooking. So peppers are very light. It takes a lot of peppers to get some weight on. But again, I'm just gonna, let me zero it. We'll just put these, I'm just gonna put these in all together. So it's the 4 Anaheim and the 1, this is the hot banana pepper. So see, that's only coming in at 1.4 ounces. Do want to get a weight on the strawberries and the mulberries down. So I'm trying to see how much I got total for the year. So that was just a little snack amount, 1.8 ounces. I'm not gonna bother weighing these little bit of peas and chamomile. And I do wanna have a mulberry total for the year. So this is 5.6 ounces of mulberries added to this year's log. All right, well, only the Anaheim peppers and the onions that are sauteed in with the fajita meat are from the garden. I have some onion bits and the green tops in here with my unfortunately store-bought tomato salad, but those are good tomatoes. So yeah, we're gonna make our bowls and enjoy dinner with some stuff from the garden.